Hello everyone. My name is Abdurrashid. My teacher's name is Anjar. Today we're going to talk about two-sample hypothesis testing. Let's start. Now I will talk about hypothesis testing with two samples. In this topic, we don't work with one group, but with two groups. The main idea is to compare them and see if they are different. This difference can be real or just random. For example, we may compare results from two cities or two companies. Why two samples? Why two samples? Sometimes one sample is not enough to answer one question. This is why we use two samples. Each sample represents its own population. This helps us make comparison more accurate. For example, we can compare exam results of different classes. Independent samples. Independent samples means the groups are not connected. People in one sample are different from people in the other sample. There is no pairing between observations. This situation is very common in practice. For example, testing scores of men and women are independent samples. Dependent samples, as we can see, dependent samples are also called paired samples. Here, the same individuals appear in both samples. Usually we measure something before and after. This helps us to change it directly. I'm so sorry. I have some problems with my voice. For example, weight before and after training program. Null and alternative hypothesis. As we see, as in all hypothesis tests, we start with two hypotheses. The null hypothesis says there is no any difference. The alternative hypothesis says there is a difference. They are always opposite to each other. For example, U1 equals to U2, or U1 is not equal to U. Large sample z-test. When both samples are large, we use two sample z-test. Usually, each sample size should be at least 30. The sample must be also independent and random. In this case, how can I say? We use a normal distribution. For example, we compare average expenses in two different states. Small sample plus t-test. When sample size are small, we use a two sample t-test. Here the population should be normally distributed. The t-distribution is used instead of the normal one. This test is common in small experiments. For example, if we compare we compare results of two small students group. Paired t-test. Dependent sample differences, analyze mean differences, and example. The paired test is used for dependent samples. First, that we find the difference inside each pair. Then we analyze the average of these differences. This method is very powerful when for before and after studies. For example, exam scores before and after the Excel lessons. 2 sample tests for proper I'm so sorry preparations. Sometimes we compare preparations instead of meanings. This happens with yes or no types of data. In this case, we use a two sample z test for proportions. The sample must be large enough for this test. For example, seatbelt usage in 2 types of vehicles. So, two sample hypothesis testing also help us to compare a group correctly. I'm so sorry. We can test means or propositions. I'm so sorry, I have some mistakes in my English language. These methods are used in business, medicine, and education. That is why this topic is very important. Statistics. Thank you for your attention.